In this video, I'm going to show you the project guitar that I've been working on. It's my first time kind of working on a guitar project like this. I'm going to show everything in chronological order so you get like an authentic look into the steps that I had taken in real time. In hindsight, there's a lot of stuff that I would have done differently. For example, doing things in a different order to save myself a lot of time and effort. But an important part of the process was learning from my mistakes and stuff like that. So I think this guitar kind of represents what the majority of guitars out in the wild are like today, which is, an off-brand entry-level Strat copy that's been sitting in someone's closet for years and years and years collecting dust. Some of the major problem areas on this guitar are, the bridge is basically ripped out of the body, causing the strings to be like several inches off of the fretboard. Um, probably causing a lot of destruction to the guitar and the neck itself because of the string tension. In addition to like dust, grime, dirt, rusty screws, the hardware was very dull and needed cleaning. On the neck, the fretboard was kind of coming off of the neck at an angle nonetheless. One of the frets was about to kind of pop out of the guitar. The nut was not slotted correctly. There's a lot on this guitar that needed to be restored. So I start things off by taking the strings off of the guitar. Pretty standard procedure for removing strings. Um, as I did that, I realized that the ball ends of the strings were actually stuck inside of the bridge, and so I had a lot of trouble getting them out. Later on, I'll kind of elaborate that process with some close-up pictures, but for the time being, I'd used some pliers to cut the strings to the best of my ability. You'll see them stick out of the bridge for a moment of time while I dealt with that later. So yeah, here I was trying to get them out. So I started cleaning the guitar. I use an air duster to blow the dust out of the crevices and Gibson brand guitar polish for a lot of the cleaning. I actually love that particular polish. It's very versatile. You can use it on any surface, from poly, nitro finishes to different types of wood. It does a great job of cleaning the guitar. The white plastics were definitely very dirty and discolored. I did my best to, clean them up, get the gunk off of them. Cleaned up the neck and the headstock, the fretboard. I was really impressed with the neck on this guitar. It's something I'm going to elaborate on a lot throughout the video. Clean up the hardware, like the tuners and stuff, trying to get them nice and polished. For the fret that was sticking out of the fretboard, I used an X-Acto knife to kind of clear out the crevice where it sits, and then a dab of super glue, try to get it back in place. I used a little bit of wood glue to try to get the fretboard back onto the neck. I was careful to avoid the hole for the truss rod. Um, the problem with the fingerboard is one that I'm definitely going to elaborate more on in the future. Using masking tape to mask off the rosewood fretboard so that I could polish the frets. Polishing the frets, I used a small piece of ultra fine steel wool. Got them nice and shiny. In addition to like aesthetics, it's good to have nice polished, clean frets, for string bends and stuff like that. So after that, I used lemon oil to condition the fretboard. It restored a lot of the, nice dark color and beautiful wood grain on the rosewood. Kept it nice and moisturized. So here I'm disassembling the stuff in the back of the guitar, where the springs are for the tremolo. And somebody put 5 springs in the back cavity of the guitar to hold the tremolo for whatever fucking reason. Was able to get the bridge off of the guitar. So yeah, here I am dealing with the ball ends of the string being stuck inside of the bridge. I used WD-40 to kind of clean out the inside. get rid of whatever gunk was holding those ball ends in there. So here's a close-up of the bridge. You can see those little scraggly bits of string that I had to get out of there with the WD-40. Some more shots of the guitar, the bridge taken out of it. So then I took the neck off of the guitar. Hey, what's up? Hey, how's it going? Are you busy? I'm about to wrap up what I'm doing with the guitar and like go get some food or something. I'm very call me back? Uh yeah, I will in like 5 minutes. No, I'm just concentrating. I'm trying to take a look inside. If you look at the picture, I took the neck off the guitar to see if I could see the truss. I'm about to get in the car to drive. Okay, okay, let me just put this down, wash my hands, and I'll call you right back. Adria, I do have to go, like, at least wash my hands or something. I love you. I'll call you in literally 1 minute. You put a timer on it. Okay, bye. I love you. I love you. I'll call you right back. Bye. Mwah. Just hold on. I'll call you right back. I love you. Bye. So with the body and the neck separated, I began to start reassembling the bridge and the tremolo systems, the stuff in the back cavity of the guitar, putting the springs back where they need to be. And here I'm just adjusting the spring tension. At this point, you'll notice that the bridge was no longer like jutting all the way out of the guitar, which was nice. So I took all of the screws off of the pickguard on the guitar, and what I did next was place them in a plate where I used WD-40 to clean them. My intention was to get as much of the rust off as I could. So the inside of the front cavity, there's not a whole lot for me to do. I checked the pickups and they all worked fine, so I didn't think the electronics needed a whole lot of work. I used some disinfecting wipes to do some extra cleaning. There's rust residue from the screws and a lot of grime on the white plastics, especially on the other side of the pickguard where it presses against the body. Just wanted to make sure everything was as clean as possible. So I took the screws that were soaking in the WD-40 and I scrubbed as much of the rust off of them as I could, and then started putting them back in place on the pickguard. So here I am playing around with the nut. I was using some graphite from a pencil to lubricate the nut. I want a nice, slick, moist nut, and I definitely don't want a busted nut. I used some super glue to put it back in place. It's a nice, sticky nut. So I'm tightening the screws back onto the face of the guitar. I made adjustments to the mounting screws on the bridge pickup to lower the height. You'll notice it's not sticking out anymore. Tightening the screws that control the spring tension in the back cavity for the tremolo. So now I'm putting the neck back on the guitar. So I'm really proud of how it turned out. You know, it definitely looks a lot better than it used to. Using some more Gibson guitar polish to give it another thorough cleaning and just tightening some screws here and there. So the next step was to put a fresh set of strings on the guitar and then give it a setup. So when I say setup, I'm referring to a number of adjustments to different points of the guitar to get it into the best playing shape. That includes adjusting the truss rod, which adjusts the neck relief, stuff like string action, which is the height of the strings off of the fretboard, and then intonation, which is how well the guitar stays in tune as you go up the neck. Those are the things that you kind of adjust in a setup. My intention was to get this guitar to the very best possible condition in the state that it was given me. But in doing so, I actually figured out a lot of stuff that was so fucked up on the guitar that is kind of beyond my scope of, being able to repair it or whatever. For example, the inside of the bridge mounting screws were so eroded that I wasn't really able to turn the hex key to get the bridge to lower the action on the guitar to the point where you'd be able to play it. And really, the biggest problem area on the guitar was the neck. The way that the strings were before, it pulled really hard on the neck, which can cause it to bow. And the way that the fingerboard was coming off of the neck at such an angle, everything kind of pointed to the neck being very warped. At that point, given the level of damage that needed to be fixed and the complexity of that and how expensive and labor intensive it would be, the only really cost effective option would be to replace the neck altogether. Nonetheless, I was very pleased and very impressed with how the guitar turned out at this stage in the restoration. Essentially, I was just trying to get it to the very best condition that it could be in the state that it was given to me. And in getting to work on the guitar and get so familiar with it, there's a lot about it that I really, really liked.
I love that sparkly red finish. I think it looks so cool. I love the neck too. I love the neck profile. The rosewood fretboard, it was really nice. I loved the satin finish on the back of the neck. Just remarkably impressive quality.